Hi, Assalamualaikum to our lecturer, Dr. Sri Rajnita, and to all my beloved friends. Okay, today we will present about our topic. First, I will introduce ourselves. My name is Amir.
My name is Jeevan
And I am Muhammad Amir bin Aziz.
Okay, first I will tell about our title. Our title for term paper is Youngsters Nowadays Are Slave to Branded Merchandise. So, what is your views? Okay, for introduction, I will briefly tell you about our topic. First, nowadays we are live in the borderless world to spread information. We can search everything on the internet, and we can search anything and see anything on our social media such as Instagram, Twitter, and so on. Okay, we can find branded advertisement everywhere. So, fashion also included, fashion, gadget, and so on. Okay, so youngsters are quick to follow the latest trends. Okay, we will go to our thesis statement. First, from people view, youngsters are associated with brand slavery. From our view, yes, it's true, but it's totally not their fault. Okay, first, the first point is youngsters are influenced by the environment they grew up in. Okay, for example, from our young age, we are grew up in the Nokia, Samsung, and all the branded items. The second point is they are exposed to various kinds of information. Like I said, we are live in a borderless world, so we can catch up anything and advertisement everywhere. Okay, and the last point is they will have sense attachment for certain brands. In other words, brand royalty. Okay, next. Okay, the next point will be shared by Jeevan.
Okay, good morning, Doctor. So, first topic, or the main topic for the first point will be introduction of brands towards the youngsters. So nowadays, as we know, standard of living across the families around the globe has significantly rose from the years behind. So this include the spending power for them to they spend on their children for items from daily needs to luxurious items. So the first point is our parents setting the very first example on appreciating more in our parents. So as I mentioned before, the standard of living has been increased by the year. So these parents are usually the millennials now, or the working class now, are from a background where they were very poor or unaffordable to cannot afford to buy branded products. So what they would do is they now have the purchasing power, so it would drive for them to own these products and for them to fashion these products. And kids, when they have kids, these kids will look up to their parents, copying up their fashion styles and their taste for luxury products. So this defaultly make their kids attached or being introduced to the branded merchandising of these products. Okay, next would be peers keep on showing off the new toys, clothes, stuffs, and they got from the brand. This is a textbook example of peer pressure. They started very young, where in the kindergartens, where the kids or at the early of toddlers or even 6-7 years old kids, they will show off their new shiny toys or new shiny watches, which will make other kids to desire to have them. So usually these watches are all very expensive, or the toys are very expensive. Let's look example at maybe a rocket plane. Maybe it costs around 100 ringgit for this boy, but he is a boy from a family that has a very good financial background. So 100 ringgit means nothing for them, and the parents can spend to them. Kids do not understand this. Kids do not understand this because they are kids. So what they do understand and what they do want is they have the desire, have the longing to own something as similar to their peers. So in the case what I mentioned is the rocket plane which costs 100 ringgit, but obviously the kid do not know. So that is not peer pressure. The next would be children holds the purchasing power and parents want the best for the children. Okay, this is true from the starting of human. Parents will never want anything bad for their kids. So they always will provide the best and give the best for their kids. And this applies for whatever materialistic things that will be gifted to their kids. So for example, clothes, even baby clothes are very expensive now. Mind you, they are still just babies, infants, and they cost upwards of hundreds of ringgits just for the sake of baby clothes. And parents, as I've said before, reiterating my point, that they have the purchasing power. They have that extra cash to spend on their children. So again, children holds the purchasing power for their parents, as parents tend to overspend things regarding to their kids. Okay, so this topic also will be explained by me on the easy access of information among brands, about brands among youngsters. Okay, so as I was researching on this, I came across few websites where it shows statistics on social media and internet. Okay, so to talk briefly on internet was around for quite long before it was open to the public. It became very famous in the 80s, where it was actually a network that connects critical infrastructures in US towards each of them. So this enabled the researchers to access databases of information of different institutions around the US without the need to be physically there. So that was just briefly on the history of how internet became to be. And in the late 90s, it became famous, it became public, and boom, we have internet now. So as the Renaissance era for internet would be around 1990s, late 90s to early 2000. And after that was the dawn and the era of social media. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all become highly popular by using internet as the platform for them to operate on. So, as any era of any time period has shown, it is always the youngsters. It is always the youngsters who will always go against the norm, who will always up to date with the latest trend and latest development that happens in this world. So in that case, in this case, what the first point is on, youth spend more time on social media than are filled with ads and pop-ups. So the point I want to relate is youths are the biggest percentage of age groups that are spending the most of their time, or spending the most time in the internet, especially on social media. I mean, we can go talk about social media, the benefit, the pro and cons, but we're not going to do that here. But this social media is a platform which is free and are not charged by the companies who create this platform. For instance, Twitter, you don't need to pay a single cent to use it. But one do wonder, how do they maintain their operation without the need to take money from the user? So there's a thing in this our world. We say there's nothing is free. So actually, we are the end product of what the social media are trying to social media are trying to use. We are actually a giant advertisement board for these branded companies. So as youngsters tend to spend more time, they would inevitably will encounter ads and pop-ups about these branded products. So these will eventually implant or instill in them to go and acquire or go and buy these products. First, they will obviously try to buy this products which are very cheap, because in advertisement they won't show the expensive products. But see, when they had the taste of the branded merchandise, they won't let go and will go pursue and buy the expensive stuff. And which go to the next detail on why easy access of information brands which create slavery of amongst our youngsters. Next is brands are portrayed by their favorite actor or actress in a movie or a red carpet event. So if you follow the internet nowadays, red carpet events and actresses and actors have a very big followers of social media accounts. For instance, Selena Gomez have hundreds of millions of followers in Instagram, and this is a platform for the branded merchandise companies to use and promote their products to reach out to these followers. So this is the most cost-effective method and the most efficient for these branded merchandise companies to portray their products and gain potential customers through these peoples. The next point would be brand awareness. Brand awareness is how consumers associate the brand with the particular product that they aim. Everyone have their wants. Let's say, for instance, I would like to have shoes. I would prefer buying shoes over shirts, and with these ads or with the emergence of social shopping, social media or online shopping, this is actually increasing the consumer's choice in terms of pricing, because they are priced very aggressively, and you are getting the product in a week's time and they are delivered straight to your home. So this encourages youngsters, especially, as I've said before, the internet is maximally used by youngsters to go and find a product which comes in with their budget and their taste of owning the product. So for the next point, I hand over to Jeevan.
Okay, moving on to the main topic number 3, it is about brand loyalty. So first thing we need to know, what is brand loyalty? Brand loyalty is attachment to a particular brand based on quality, emotional attachment, price, etc. So in other words, we prefer to choose that brand based on what we think about the brand. So if we think, for example, one brand have the best quality in that product, that means that we do believe that that brand is the best for us. So we would buy that brand no matter what the product is. For example, let's take about sports product. So many people would know Nike, Adidas, and Puma, and all those other famous brands. So in other words, other people would think, oh, I prefer Nike, and other people would say, no, Adidas is better. So it is based on their own preferences, and this is what brand loyalty is. That person, that customer will be loyal to that particular brand. So strong brands are usually already associated with good reputation. So have you ever heard about Nike giving up poor products? It is not common and very rare. This is because their brands are very strong, already strong, that has been produced all the time from the past to now, and when they producing these products with good qualities, so people would associate that brands specifically toward good reputation based on their throughout journey. So if a new brand came and want to penetrate the market, so it would be a little bit problem. It's gonna be a problematic for the new brand to penetrate the new market because they don't have all this good reputation that has been associated with all the strong brands such as, like I said, Nike, Puma, Adidas. If a new brand such as, for example, a Malaysian brand on sports attire came into the market, people will say, "What brand is this? What is your shirt brand?" And people will say, for example, UTM brand. No, UTM is already strong. So if we take about ABC brand, for example, so people will say ABC. No, we don't know what is ABC brand, and if we associate ABC, maybe people will recall about other product instead of sportwear. So moving on to the supporting detail number 3, the higher the brand associations in the product, the more it will be remembered by the consumer and more consumer will stay loyal towards the brand. Let's look at smartphones. If we if we say Nokia, not everybody will know about the brand nowadays because Nokia has been their reputation has been depleted compared to the past. And if we say iPhone, Samsung, people know, oh, we know that brand because it is the brand has been associated with the product, but we do not know that Samsung also manufactured other things. For example, do you know that Astro decoder? The Astro decoder is actually Samsung product, but people will always say that is Astro because they associated the brand Astro with the decoder. However, the decoder is manufactured by Samsung actually. So this is what we are talking about here, brand associated with the product. And the more consumer will remember as they look at the brands daily. For example, if we say about instant noodles, people will go like, oh, Maggi. Actually it's instant noodles, not Maggi. Maggi is the brand, and actually Maggi is not really the brand because it is under Nestle, but people will associate Maggi with instant noodles. Okay. So next is we came into the conclusion. So to conclude our essay, youngsters are slaves to branded merchandise. That is what we stand on, but it is caused by the way they are brought up by the parents, amounts of influence they got, and the sense of attachment towards certain brands. We are recapping the thesis statement from earlier, and this phenomenon should be stopped from being passed down. As in, now youngsters nowadays are being associated with this brand, but we actually try not to do it because not everybody are associated. Not every youngsters are slaves to branded merchandise, and if they slaves to branded merchandise, what about the new brands who are trying to penetrate the market? It is not good for the future development of a market, and for Malaysian brand also it is not good because most Malaysian would look at other products, other brands from outside of Malaysia instead of Malaysian product. And should we stop by educating the next generation regarding needs and wants? Of course, we cannot teach a toddler or maybe 10 years old about needs and wants, but we can try to nurture them from early. However, the question is it effective enough to stop this phenomenon from occurring towards the next generation? So with that, we conclude our presentation and we will stop there. Thank you very much.
Biasa secinta satu
Okay,
samping
satu this
jangan terlalu banyak rasakan
Relax, problem.